What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Spotlight 39. I'm Rob Odie, man. And as you see, we got a familiar face of late. But before we let him introduce himself, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, share it, all that fun stuff. Let's give these kids the most exposure as possible. This is a young man that might not necessarily need it just because he's been all over the headlines. But we're going to get to that and why. But before we do, man, go ahead and introduce yourself for those that might not know you and tell us who you are, where you're from, a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Baylin Trujillo. I'm from Orlando, Florida, quarterback trainer, travel all across the country, put on quarterback camps and quarterback trainings, and especially here in Central Florida. And been blessed enough to do this profession for 10 years and currently train over 34 Division I quarterbacks. I have about 6 or 7 guys professionally, whether it's in the NFL, XFL, CFL, or arena. I've just, been blessed to make an impact in this game and this position specifically, and got to play at a high level and also got to do some things professionally and stuff. So it's just been a blessing, man. And I appreciate you having me again on pretty much the third episode of Spotlight.
Yeah, man, it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, we could talk football and quarterbacks pretty much every day of the week. I think you've got an arsenal of dudes. And who are we looking at right now? We see the Michigan logo. Probably everybody knows this young man, but who do we see running through these drills? And then kind of walk us through what drills he's doing, man. How is he an elite quarterback? Look at that footwork.
Yeah, no, Brady Hart is elite, like you just mentioned. He is probably the fastest progressing quarterback that. Yeah, what you're seeing now is Brady Hart, and yes, he's got the wow factor. And I know my son's getting a little side effects here by watching this tape, and he's actually in my arms in this training. But yeah, Brady Hart is probably the fastest growing and fastest trending quarterback right now, especially in media and marketing and rankings. And he's kind of a year behind in a way because he was nursing a back injury last year, and so while you see guys like Noah Grubbs and Darion really hit the scene pretty early, him and Michael Clayton were nursing some back injuries. So now you're seeing, a back injury and collarbone. But now you're seeing Brady Hart take the scene pretty fast. And, winning a state championship also helps that. And, it's just been a blessing to be working with him now going on our 3rd to 4th year together. I got him when he was in 8th grade. His dad is a former professional athlete. So he knew the regimen it took to get to this level. And he was always trained hard. And I'll never forget, man, there was one training where I started to really see strides with him. And I just told him, man, if you really buy into my process, I'm telling you, you'll be the number one quarterback. And I say that to all my top elite guys. I've always said, all you guys will be number one in the class, and at some point it's going to hit. And so I just told him, man, I broke him down to the point where his dad walked to his truck. He kind of gave me the look like the okay to really rip into him. And I just looked at him. I said, dude, Brady, you can't get emotional, man. You got to be all in, and we're going to go full speed ahead this. And if you finally take instruction, the sky's the limit for you. Your ceiling is so high because now you're really diving into the quarterback position. You were a football player your whole life. He even played defense, so he's very physical. But just taking his position and doing it the right way consistently, he finally bought in after that training session, and now you're seeing the results of that. And he bought in, and he became a state champion this year, and that was all part of the plan. I told him you need to be on the big stage, and so he transferred to Cocoa after Blake Boda, who put up crazy numbers, who's now at Arkansas. Now he played right behind him, and Coach Snyder, Coach Franco. Those guys are the real deal when it comes to offense. And as we know in that area, there's 2 powerhouses, Cocoa and Rockledge. And so I told him, I said, let's bet on yourself. Let's go to Cocoa and see what happens. And he sure enough, he did that. And his first game, he played Darion Coleman Jones and knocked them off. And then his second game, he's going down to Fort Lauderdale playing St. Thomas Aquinas. He throws 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and next thing you know, the whole state's on alert for Brady Hart. So I'm so proud of this kid and what he's done over the last year. And I'm just, again, the ceiling's the limit, and now he's a Michigan commit.
Yeah, man. So we're going to get to the Friday Night Lights. We're going to see what that film looks like. I mean, to knock off St. Thomas Aquinas down in Fort Lauderdale, that's no easy feat, right? I think Bosco was the first team to do it in quite some time at the Broward County Showcase. And then, Brady goes in there and puts up outrageous numbers against the defense. That's no pushover. So let's get to the film. Let's see what an elite quarterback looks like, with the pads, under the lights, big pressure.
Now, as you see here, you're going to see an elite talent at 6'5", very athletic, has a fast twitch, fast release, and he's always on time because his footwork is always good. I take pride in my training when it comes to footwork and sequence timing and stuff like that with routes, and you see that here with Brady Hart. And again, what's most impressive about Brady Hart is the fact that he's doing this against the toughest competition in the state of Florida. And, there's no knock there. And I think that's why he's trending so fast, because he was able to put up these type of numbers, 41 touchdowns, several 500-yard plus games. And, obviously winning a state championship in the state of Florida, which is already hard to do. When you do all that stuff, you gain all the credibility that you deserve as we talk about rankings and stars and offers. And so he's earned all that in the last year as a sophomore. And, I just can't speak highly enough about this kid and his work ethic, and just a genuine kid, too. When you get to know him personally, everybody falls in love with Brady Hart. He's very mature for his age. Again, he was raised by a professional athlete. He's got both parents that support everything that he does. He's got siblings that he loves. So there's so many, he's just the all-American kid. And so watching him, and again, what's most important in this whole thing is production on the field. How do you produce? And when you watch this tape like you're watching it now, again, he's doing against the best competition in the entire state of Florida. And that's why everybody knows who Brady Hart is. And that's why you see him climbing the ranking charts, entering top 10, top 5 rankings. And then, he's currently a 4-star right now. And don't be surprised in the next couple weeks or months, he'll be a 5-star going into his junior year as a Michigan commit. And Coach Campbell loves him. He's excited. He thinks he's the next J.J. McCarthy. I was on that phone call when he offered Brady to Michigan right after the Elite 11 script came out. And like I said, they think he's the next J.J. McCarthy to lead them to another national title. And I think Brady's going to win at all levels. He's going to win another state title, probably back to back to back, probably 3 under his belt in high school, which is unheard of, especially again in the state of Florida. And then he's going to go to Michigan. I see him competing at an early age. I think he's going to be the starter as a freshman or redshirt freshman. And I think the story's, it's just going to continue from that point. And we will see Brady Hart in the NFL. There's no questions there. What he can do at 6'5" and be that athletic, control of his body, always on time, and just a true, genuine kid.
Yeah, watching the film over and over is it's beyond impressive. He's already, college ready just based on the film and the competition he's playing. As we're watching St. Thomas Aquinas, again, one of the toughest programs in the state of Florida, one of the toughest home games, to go into and to show out, put up 500 plus numbers, yards, with several TDs. That's unheard of. And this young man did that as a sophomore, right? So he comes back as a junior. What are some things that you guys focused on this off season, and how is that going to relate Friday night, once he gets back on the football field under the lights?
Yeah, so Brady Hart's always been a physical player. Like I mentioned earlier, he played defense as a kid, and he loved hitting people. And so I think for this offseason, we've definitely focused on weight gain. He's gained 30 pounds, and so now he's climbing to almost 200 pounds at 6'5", whereas last year he was playing at like 168. And so, gaining that muscle and keeping his tone and his speed, I think that was very key in this offseason. He's done just that. And, they do a great job at Cocoa with their weight program. Coach Snyder does a great job in how he develops quarterbacks as well. And so we've been focusing on that and obviously staying healthy. This is the first full offseason that he's been healthy, which has been awesome. And so, again, with the weight gain and him staying healthy, you're seeing what everybody's seeing right now. And it's a kid that's trending upwards and a kid who's pretty much taking over the 2026 class. He might end up this thing as the number 1 and number 2 overall, player in the country and quarterback, especially in the state of Florida, along with, obviously Noah, Darion, and, Michael's climbing as well, and Diabell, and Will Griffin. So, this whole class is loaded in the state of Florida, and Brady really is separating himself. And we just saw in the Future 50 down in IMG, he won the overall pretty much MVP of all the top 8 quarterbacks in the country, and it's rightfully so. He's earned it. He's earned everything he's ever gotten, and he's just a hard-nosed kid that just loves playing football and loves fishing.
And loves fishing. I love that. So talk to me about this coming season, the competition, right? Last year, St. Thomas Aquinas, Jones, there was some heavy hitters. This year, I think they've got IMG on the calendar. Walk me through some big level competition that he's going to play against. Who are some guys, on the defensive side, that or programs that have guys on the defensive side, that could potentially, be a threat to this young man this offseason or this coming season?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think that a lot of people are scared to play Coco. I'm just going to be honest with you now with the way they set up the classifications again, back to the old format. I think that teams are not wanting to play Coco, so it's hard to find teams to play them, which is why you see an IMG added onto the schedule late. But I think that the game that really intrigues me the most right now, honestly, in Central Florida is when they play at Popka. Popka historically is known for a great defense. One of the great defensive minds in Central Florida is Coach Rolson, who has led a Popka 3 of the last 6 years to a state championship. And so when you add all those factors in, I think that's going to be a big-time game. It's going to be at Apopka High School. I also train their quarterback, Tyson Davison, so I'm going to be there for that matchup. But I'm really excited to see him play against some good top-tier Central Florida teams and see how they really match up, especially when it comes to defense. Like you said, that's how you mature and get better as a quarterback is when you actually play tough competition, because it's easy to throw 600-700 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns against easy or lesser opponents, and you're done by halftime. But can you do that when it really matters? When it's on the big stage, like he did last year against St. Thomas and Jones and Seminole. So Brady Hart has already proven himself at that point, and he's won a state title. So now let's see how he can continue to grow as an athlete, put on some mass, stay physical, keep staying in shape, keeping sharp, and ultimately leading Coco to multiple state titles, if not three-peat. So I'm excited, man. The sky's the limit for this kid, and I just can't speak any more highly of this Michigan committee, and it's special.
Yeah, man. So Michigan's definitely getting a guy, absolutely special talent. It's a rarity, but at the same time, the state of Florida makes it look easy, right? I mean, like you said, the 2026 class is beyond deep, loaded with talent. So let's close this thing out on Mr. Brady Hart. Give me some closing remarks about this young man that people might not know. Something that we can't see on the social media or on the football field outside of fishing. Give us a snapshot of who he is, and then we'll close this thing out.
Yeah, so Brady Hart, he is just a genuine kid. He's actually, he's volunteering his time and painting walls and picking up trash on the streets, and he does that in Cocoa, and people don't even know that. And he does that for the Humane Society. He's volunteering his time pretty much 3 or 4 days a week, and just doing stuff for the community. And I think that's massive in who he is as a leader, as a quarterback. And you add all those factors into who he is as a young man and his family life, and he's a straight A student. He takes academics serious. He's just a great kid. He doesn't like drama. He's just a country boy that's grown up, with a standard, with a professional athlete as his dad, who lets him know what to and what not to do, and trusts, my development in him. And then on the side note, he's performing at high levels when it counts on the field. So, I mean, Brady Hart is the entire package. Michigan has their next J.J. McCarthy, if not better. And I'm just excited to see, how this whole thing unfolds. And he still has 2 more years left of high school. So, I mean, we could go on and on about Brady Hart. I mean, the kid is just the American dream, the American boy. And like I said, he is as tough as it gets. And I'm excited to be his quarterback trainer and just to see him continue to climb, because we haven't even seen the farthest this kid can go.
That's look. I don't even know what to say to follow that. I was gonna say something flying, something exciting, but I mean the reality is, this kid is the all around package. He is the All American. He is a special talent. We're excited. Michigan got themselves a guy. So look, if you like
They
this,
sure
if you
did.
enjoy this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Continue to support these young men. These guys are living out their dreams. You're gonna one day see this young man play at Michigan in the big house, and then most likely on Sundays in the NFL. So make sure you tap in, continue to tap in, because we got more quarterbacks to talk about in the future. I'm Rob Odie, man. This is Spotlight 39. Until
Yep.
next time, I
Hey,
appreciate you.
I'll say this: my son's blonde hair, and I hope he plays like Brady Hart. I'll just say that.
Love it. Till next time.